Hello, welcome back. It's me. You're getting the no script writing, just doing this as he goes version of myself today, and not the has everything scripted out in advance, ready to go version of me. So if it gets a little rambly, I apologize in advance. I do hope that you all really liked the video that I made with Tarkus, however. So it was a bit of a change of pace. I kind of like doing it, but I don't think that I can do that style of content every time. I mean, Targus is like a superhuman. He does that for every single video. I don't know. The amount of effort that he puts into his videos is just mind-boggling. Anyways, today I thought it'd be kind of fun to play as a custom character in Alto Aragon, starting as a count subject of Navarra and trying to champion the faith of the country Basques and getting the achievement that goes along with that. So we're playing as a giant, martial spec custom character because being a giant is virtuous to the Basque pagan faith, so I figured that would be kind of fun. First thing that I did is marry somebody who has a claim on the Duchy of Barcelona, because there are counties within the Duchy of Barcelona that will be useful to us in order to satisfy the requirements to then champion the faith of the country Basques. You need to have 9 provinces belonging to the Old Vasconia region, and we start out with just a couple, so we're going to need to expand. So along with trying to champion the faith of the country Basque and getting the achievement that goes along with that, I did want to try and end the struggle and see if I could do that, but you know how ending the struggle goes. I'm going to be pretty upfront. This playthrough it's kind of a hot mess. It is kind of a hot mess. But you know what? That happens sometimes. So hopefully y'all just will come along with me on the ride. I wound up able to attack the Umayyads because they were in a series of civil wars and they had no troops left, so I declared a clash and was able to beat them back pretty easily, but then they wound up getting dissolved through a dissolution war, and I wound up fighting this little duchy with only 275 troops instead, so it made things a bit easier, which, you know, I'm never going to complain about that, and you all will be very proud of me this time. I remembered to take Bellum Justum. And no, it's not just because I was playing a martial spec character in the first place, although that probably did help. But I did remember to take Bellum Justum early on in the campaign, so I'm not wasting a bunch of prestige and piety declaring these wars. Also interesting, although this was kind of funny, the Mozarabs decided to pop up in Gascony, which was kind of fun. They were there throughout like the entire campaign. They never really went away, and at one point some of the Carling heirs also had converted to Mozarabism, which I thought was kind of funny, because there was a potential for like a Mozarabic Aquitaine, which is just kind of odd when you consider what Mozarabism is, but you know what? It happens. I was allied to Count Gieffre, the Hairy, who is one of my favorite characters to play in the game. He's a very cool start. I love it a lot. And we were pressing the claim for some different people in the Duchy of Barcelona at different points. This time it was for his own claim. But we were going to expand in the other direction for the time being, and we were going to take Toidala off of Sheik Lub, who is another one of my favorite characters to play in Iberia. Also very funny. See, I say all of this stuff about all of my favorite characters to play in Iberia, and then if you look at my Steam profile, I've never actually got the achievements for ending the struggle, because the only times that I've done it were not in Iron Man, so that kind of sucks. Still after those. But ending the struggle is really, really annoying, especially when you're trying to end it in a specific way. Nearly impossible. Anyways, we're just rapidly expanding at this point, but if you'll notice, we are over our domain limit because I can't actually form the Duchy of Zaragoza until I kill this guy completely who owns the Duchy of Zaragoza, because I can't usurp it since it's a massive duchy and he still owns land inside of it, which is really, really, really annoying. Another thing that's kind of a consistent theme throughout this entire playthrough is the fact that my army is ungodly expensive compared to how much money I make. And when you're trying to conquer Iberia as fast as possible, you need to have a big army to do it. And big armies are very expensive. So we needed to have a lot of personal domain in order to have that, which we have now. But this time it's actually kind of handicapping our income, because I think after this war we were at like a minus 60% tax income from being over domain limit. So that was great. But our son, who is also a giant, came of age, and he was a level 3 learning character, which is really nice. So in theory, once we took over as this character, we would be able to convert a lot of stuff to Era Zaharra, but, you know, things happened, and you'll get to see those in a little bit. So now I'm not over my domain limit anymore. Well, I actually am, but I'm about to not be because I just made the duchy, and I started giving away land to my sons in the hopes that, you know, I would be able to give this son a duchy and this son a duchy and this son a duchy, and everybody would be happy, you know, because we're expanding out, everything is going to be great. But the way that the succession lined up and the way that I wasn't allowed to give out the provinces that I wanted to the people that I wanted to have them, it didn't work out very well. But I managed to get back under my domain limit, which is very nice. Navarra was caught up in another war, so I took this opportunity to declare independence while they were getting thrashed by the Asturians. And as you can already tell by my voice just miraculously cracking a couple times in this video already, it's very late at night. My voice is already very tired from laughing at a bunch of videos and a call with my Discord friends. But at this point, y'all know my voice is garbage, okay? Y'all know that I have no stamina when it comes to talking for a long time. So I'm just going to leave them in. Y'all can laugh at me. Feel free to drop a comment below at which voice crack you think is going to be the funniest. I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it. So we still had a ways to go to actually like getting enough of the provinces required in order to convert to this religion, and there was no way we were ever going to be able to convert to it without taking this decision, because it cost 630 something thousand piety, which we were never going to be able to get. Also interesting, while I was declaring a struggle clash on this duchy, the Pope decided to call a crusade for Al-Andalus against the duke that I was currently fighting. So, you know, like any good Catholic character, this time I did pledge my warriors to go fight the same person that I was already fighting. So we were able to win our war before the Crusade kicked off, which is good because I think it would have invalidated our war. But then the Crusade kicked off very soon afterwards, and we were right there on the front lines, ready to go in. I nominated my character's, one of my character's daughters as our beneficiary because she wasn't in line to inherit anything. But I had already, this is really going to be important later, I had already married her off to, I think, some random duke or count in Lotharingia in Germany. So, you know, all of her kids were already landed in Germany, and when she died, that would have created some problems for us. So, but I was like, you know what, why not? Screw it. I'll give the land to her if we go in and are able to get the most war score, which we did. I also got the Crusader trait for both me and my son, so that was kind of fun. I hadn't even fought any battles when I got it. I literally just walked in, tapped a siege, and got the Crusader trait, so that was fun. I also was able to pick up the For the Faith achievement here. I know it repeats the achievements every single time you play Iron Man and gives you the notifications for all of them, but that was genuinely the first time that I had got the For the Faith achievement. So I'm not really a Crusader in this game, what can I say? That and I just don't really play Iron Man very often, except when I'm going for a specific achievement. But so now we had our daughter on the throne in Andalusia. So honestly, when you looked at the map, the Catholics controlled most of Iberia at this point, which was really kind of interesting. I also picked up an alliance with the Basilius, which was really, really nice because when I was fighting Asturias, who was pretty much the only person besides our new Crusader Queen that we just installed who could actually rival my power at this point in time, I was able to just call in the Basilius and have them trounce the Asturian army for me, which was really, really, really nice. But our newly installed Crusader Queen was going to be a bit of a problem for us later on, as along with her new kingdom, she also got about 4,400 special event troops. So, I mean, you know, that was something that we were just going to deal with later on, because she just started with 6,200 men, and that's a lot at this point in time. But for now, my eyes are set on trying to form a kingdom and trying to get a kingdom tier title, and I was going to go after Navarra because, you know, Navarra is kind of the Basque kingdom, and that's what I wanted to do. Also, Navarra is great for ending the struggle through military dominance because you only need to have those few provinces as both your culture and religion. It's the smallest de jure kingdom in all of Iberia at the start of the game. So it's very good for that. Although, unfortunately, even though we've been doing all of this warring and conquering and dissolving of kingdoms and all installing Crusader queens and all of this in Iberia, we got into the Conciliation phase. Huh? Someone want to explain to me the logic behind that? How we got into the Conciliation phase? I despise the Conciliation phase in Iberia. I hate it so much. It is worthless. It's pointless. I hate it. Nobody's ever ending the struggle through status quo or détente, okay? Nobody. It's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. Why does anybody want to split Iberia into a million different empire tier realms, okay? Why? Why would anybody want to do that? You just want to have the Empire of Hispania, that's it. So if you get Conciliation phase, you just ruled out the possibility of doing that for another 2 full cycles of the struggle phase, because you have to go through conciliation, then you have to go through, I think it's, what's the third one called? I don't know. It's either compromise or opportunity, or it's not opportunity again. I don't know. But you have to go through another one before you can get to hostility. And even then you have to roll hostility again, which, because it's mainly based off of what the AI does, because you have some impact on what you're doing, but you're never going to be able to outweigh the cumulative decisions of all of the AIs in the entire little subcontinent, empire, region that you've got going on there. I don't know. I hate conciliation. It makes it so that you can only declare struggle wars for one county. It makes it way more expensive. It makes it way more difficult to do literally anything, and it's awful. Anyways, we were fighting a war to put our wife on the throne of Barcelona, which in here it says that she would become independent when we did that, but she didn't. She then remained a vassal of Aquitaine, so I'm wondering if I interpreted that wrong. But she was still a vassal of Aquitaine, which actually generated a lot of other problems for us, because she was already 50, and when she died, our son, who was already landed, was going to inherit that title that was the same tier as ours and become a vassal of Aquitaine, which is an issue, because we need our son to not be a vassal of Aquitaine. So we were going to have to address that at some point before our wife died. But for now, I'm going to go pick off the remaining Umayyad ruler down here in Al-Urqub. So, that's fun. But, things are already starting to come apart at the seams here. So, just bear with me, because it's about to get a whole lot bumpier from here on out. So this war, super easy. Our army is pretty good right now. We don't have the greatest men-at-arms, but we do have a lot more troops than a one-province minor, even though he's able to hire 2,000 mercenaries, because, that's just something else that they're able to do. Also, one of my rivals apparently had some, really weird stuff going on in the bedroom. I mean, I'll let you pause and read that if you want. I'd never seen that event before, and quite frankly, I hope I never see it ever again. Very strange. Something that you don't really want to read while you're chilling playing some video games, but it's in the game. There it is. So, make of that what you will. I also sponsored the Jewish Sciences, which I had never taken this decision before in my life. Very interesting, very good decision. I'm surprised it didn't wind up converting any provinces. That feels a little odd. You're kind of sponsoring a little Jewish science renaissance, but you would think that would also attract a lot of Jewish settlers, but it doesn't. Also, my rival died. So, see you later, you weird little deviant creature. I don't know. Really, really strange. Anyways, so I wanted to do something about both the Crusader Queen and also my wife in Barcelona. Those were our top 2 things on the to-do list. So since I was the dynasty head, I was able to just go ahead and claim the title of the Kingdom of Andalusia. And we were able to get to trying to conquer that as soon as was feasible, before she died, because as you can see, her primary heir is not involved in the struggle and is already landed, so we would start getting some really weird things going on with that. But I was still allied to the Basilius, and she was not. So when you can call in the Basilius and have him thrash a kingdom tier enemy for you, you just kind of call in the Basilius and have him do that, and that's exactly what I did. I declared war for my claims on all of Andalusia, and that was pretty much that. I'm also surprised it only cost 75 to press that, 150 normally if we don't have Bellum Justum. You'd think that would cost a lot more. It costs I don't even know how many times more than that to call in the Basilius. It costs 750 to call in an Empire tier ally. So, just getting him involved costs infinitely more than starting the war. Speaking of the war, it got off to a bit of a rough start when my wife's troops just kind of walked in and died. They were following mine, which, granted, I did get them caught and routed. But, once the Basilius showed up again, you just have him crush their armies like a toddler walks on ants, Also, did you see that? Madrid just randomly popped up and went to Aquitaine. And not sure how that happened. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who this guy is. He just kind of exists and now has this province. He's just some random French Catholic. So some weird stuff must have happened with some vassalage there. And vassal inheritance. I don't know. Very strange. The third battle of the war, going well. We had our allies and our friends ready to help us. So all is well, all is good. We're going to win, and then we're going to have to deal with Madrid later on, I guess, because that's like super annoying, just having a little splotch of purple in the middle of all of this. Also, one of my sons died, which at this point I was kind of thankful for, because, you know, once you start expanding through all of these kingdom titles and you still have Confederate partition, every son you have is just another one that's going to break off and get a new kingdom. So, but in this case, his grandsons just stood to inherit, as is per usual, which is just really unfortunate. Also, did you see that? Now Benevento is here as well. Why are the Italians here? Why are the Italians all of a sudden the stewards of Toledo? Can someone in the comments please explain why the Italians and the Aquitanians and everybody are just inheriting all of the kingdom that I'm actively invading? That also kneecapped my war score, because those are the provinces that I had occupied. Like, they're not only getting inherited by other people, but they're getting inherited by other, like, independent rulers who are then just holding on to it, and they're not subjects of Andalusia. I don't know, very strange. But now Benevento is just in the center of Iberia, which is awful, and it's ugly, and I hate the border gore. And remember when I warned you that things were going to go off the rails? Well, they're going off the rails. Okay, this train is not staying off the tracks. Okay, probably poor analogy considering recent events, but you know what? It's already off the tracks. It's already crashing. But at least we have some random saint's scapula that we just propped up in our throne room. I'm sure that'll come in handy later on. Totally. I don't know why we have that, but you know, I'm sure my daughter got it for some good reason. So now it's in my throne room. Navarra had been reduced to a one province minor, so she kind of walked in and took that, and then made it my kingdom and made it my primary kingdom, which again, I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should have kept the bigger kingdom as my primary title and then just moved my capital, because, fun fact, when you're trying to end the struggle through dominance, it goes off of the de jure kingdom that your realm capital is located in and not what your primary title is. So, for example, even though right now my primary title is the Kingdom of Navarra, it is going to make me convert culture and religion for all of the Kingdom of Valencia, because that is where our capital is right now. So if I want to have it be determined based on the Kingdom of Navarra, I have to move my capital, which I actually do in just a little bit. But I was declaring another war for Barcelona in order to rectify the mistake that I had already had earlier and invade this again to press somebody else's claim in order to not have that whole inheritance bogus go through. This time they were allied to Alba, so it made it a little annoying, but you know, we were still able to go through and do all that. I was trying to press my son's claim because he was already landed in my realm, so in theory, once I pressed that claim, then he would just become my vassal. So the whole Benevento thing in the center of my country was soon rectified, though, as it just kind of got spat out into a bunch of individual counties that I was able to vassalize. But now Lotharingia has Granada in the south, so not sure exactly what's going on there, but I was able to usurp the duchy from the Italians and keep that one for myself. The invasion going great. I'm thinking to myself, you know, my son is gonna get this consolidated into my realm thanks to my wife, who is just kind of like an intermediary, keeping the throne room warm for him, you know, and we're gonna make it before she dies. You know, it's been a little while. I did kind of dilly-dally in getting to this point, but I don't think that I dillied and dallied enough to make me too late. Like, look at us. We've already occupied the entire thing. Like, you know, everything is going according to plan. Psych, nothing goes according to plan in this playthrough. Okay, this entire playthrough is an absolute disaster because she died. She died. And then my son took the lands that he already had, that I had already gave him, that were not the original provinces that I wanted to give him before. He took them with him into Aquitaine. So now I have these little Aquitaine, I don't even know what to call those. What do you call those? What is that shape? I don't know. It looks a little phallic. I don't know what to call it. But now I've got these little things inside my country that belong to Aquitaine that I don't want. And then another one of my sons died, so now sons are dying left and right. And I'm just talking to my new wife about it, and we became friends. So that's good. But, you know, everything is falling apart. I don't know what's going on. So I tried to just kill off my character. My new wife came in, my friend, and she's like, no, stop. Don't do that. And I'm like, you can't stop me. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to jump off this balcony. And then one of my guards is like, no, my king, you can't do that. And then he came and he saved me. So I can't even kill myself properly. That's how messed up things are right now. Okay? That's how bad things are. So I'm like, okay, I'll just declare another war for Barcelona. It's like Groundhog Day in Navarra. So I declare another war for Barcelona, rally the troops, and we go in and fight in this godforsaken duchy for like a 5th time in the same campaign. Like, I'm having a mental breakdown just remembering exactly what was going on when I was playing the game earlier. And that's how bad it is. I've been separated from this game by a span of at least like 3 days at this point, as I slowly work through the hours of footage and edit it, and now watching it again, I'm getting re-mad. That's how bad things are. I also got another war declared on me for a county in the south that I didn't really care about. So I was like, I'm just going to finish up the war in the north first, and then go back down and get the war in the south. And, you know, we're going to do a little 1066 England strategy right here that totally worked for him, you know, where he won in the north, and then he totally didn't get smacked in the south by William the Conqueror. That's exactly the strategy that we're going for right now. So I take my army, I hightail it down to the south, and guess what happens? Totally not exactly what happened in the example that I just told you, where we come down to the south and we get trounced. So I just surrendered the province. I just said, no, I'm done. I don't need it. Don't need the province. It's fine. Now my borders are even uglier, which I didn't think was possible. But here is where I finally realized what I was telling you about earlier, where I need to move my capital. So I made yet another mistake of actually moving my capital. Because why am I trying to follow the dominance steps when there's no way I'm ever getting to the hostility phase in this playthrough? I don't know. But I do think that it's really, really dumb that you can be in the conciliation phase, or any phase that's not hostility, and have conquered the entire peninsula and be unable to end the struggle because it's the wrong phase and you control too much of the territory. That is just mind-boggling. It's the dumbest thing I've heard of in my entire life. If you control the entire peninsula, every single county in the region of Iberia, in the Empire of Hispania, you should be able to end the struggle. There is no more struggle because you own everything. Nobody is struggling at all, besides you, because you're unable to end the struggle. It's just an entirely fabricated situation. So I decided to take my anger out on Asturias, and I'm like, I'm just going to conquer left and right. But since I lost all of that piety from trying to kill myself and failing, I still can't even take the decision to convert to Era Zaharra. Like, I've completely lost the plot in this playthrough by this point, if I'm being quite honest. I'm trying to get up to the 1,000 piety that I need to actually take the decision. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's not a disaster quite yet. Like, I'll be able to take the decision, and then I'll be able to start converting stuff. And then I'll have this cool video where it's like ending the Iberian struggle as the Basque pagan faith. You know, that's what I've got going through my head. That's the idea behind this video. But, you know, that's definitely not the course that I have charted for myself to go through. I was able to take this province off of Asturias. I was only able to take one because, you know, we're in the conciliation phase, and that sucks. I was also going to try and take this province down here, but I did get that province off of Asturias because it was the last de jure province of the Kingdom of Navarra that I did not yet own. So now I was able to start trying to make sure that it's the right culture and all that stuff, and make sure that the King of Asturias doesn't culture swap it, or one of his vassals doesn't culture swap it. But, I mean, all of the wars up until this point, really easy. We have an abundance of money because I kept borrowing money from the Pope like a dummy, not realizing and not remembering that costs piety, even though it doesn't really tell you when you're clicking the button. It costs, I think, 250 every time. So I just kept hamstringing myself in trying to save up to 1,000 piety. So that was another thing holding us back. I was able to walk in and get Iberia back, though, and get the province that had been unjustly usurped from me, Stanford Bridge style, back, which was really, 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 really nice. Gave me a little bit of a morale boost. Was kind of cleaning up the borders, but then now, if you'll notice, another swath of land has just been inherited by some random foreign ruler, and there's more Lothringia now. Also, the Lothringia in the south had grown since I'd last seen it, So I was like, nah, this is not going to happen. I'm going to declare an Iberian reclamation for the Duchy of Cordoba. I didn't even know that casus belli existed. Okay, that's how messed up this situation is. I have never seen or heard of this casus belli before. For you to just kick out people that do not belong. And you can take an entire duchy, even though you're in the conciliation phase, which is very fun. But we wound up not being able to do that because I got another war declared against me, and because apparently Lotharingia has some very, very strong friends, and they came and they beat me up and they took my lunch money. At this point, I had finally racked up 1,000 piety, and I was able to convert to Era Zaharrak, and I was like, I'm finally doing the point of this entire video. I'm finally getting to it. 25 minutes into this video, I'm finally doing it. And I was like, I'm a crusader, I'm a warrior, I'm gonna reform it to be fundamentalist, and because I don't want Christian syncretisms, that I can actually like convert the Christian provinces. And we did it, and I was like, wow, that is a really underwhelming amount of provinces to have convert. That sucks. Also, we're missing out on the holy site that just gives me a flat 20% bonus to conversion because it belongs to Lotharingia. Very fun. Very, very cash money. I was like, okay, it's still salvageable though. I can keep going, declare a war, an invasion of the Kingdom of Leon against Asturias. Very fun, very easy war. Just kind of walked in, separated his armies while they were marching, killed off the 1,000 something of the 6,000 stack before his remaining stack could reinforce. And bada bing, bada bang, that's how you do it. Walked in, won the invasion war after another couple sieges, took that. Didn't really help with the border gore though. Like, I mean, just look at this peninsula. This is the worst Iberia I have ever seen, and I am at the helm of like 2/3 of it. After this though, it was honestly just rebellion after rebellion after rebellion. And I was like, this is actually perfect because I can just start usurping all of the titles of the Christian rebellious vassals that don't want to convert in order to get out of prison. And that's what I started doing, but it just really wasn't enough. Everybody was pissed. Everybody was pissed. I mean, when you reform the faith to become fundamentalist and get rid of the Christian syncretism, it's understandable why they would be a bit upset, you know, a bit uppity. But I was really, really thinking that I could hold all of this together. However, my army was just too freaking expensive. I was only running off of ransoming prisoners, and I just didn't have enough money to try and effectively hold this together. And every single time I declared a war, I was dipping into debt and getting another rebellion. People were mad, the vassals were upset. I wasn't really converting fast at all. Things were coming apart at the seams. Somebody killed me. My realm split up even further. And then a few months after this, the remaining realm just kind of exploded into civil war and everything fell apart. Also, now it's not Lotharingia in the middle, it's Savoy, in case you were wondering. They popped up as well. So I hope you enjoyed this long, rambling tangent of a video of me just venting my frustration at playing in Iberia. I did get the achievement for converting to the faith, so I mean, at least I got something out of this torturous game that I played for, I don't know, I think this recording was about like 3 hours, 3 and something hours, I don't know. So let me know if you liked listening to me vent for a whopping 28 minutes. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. I like seeing the number go up. It gives me a bunch of serotonin. And yeah, I'll check y'all back here next time for what's hopefully not as catastrophic of an ending. So, I don't know. We'll see what I cook up for the next video. Till then, stay safe, be kind to one another, and yeah, I will see y'all then.